A hairstylist who worked for Fox claims former Fox Sports host Skip Bayless made repeated unwanted advances towards her. She also accuses Bayless of offering her more than $1 million for sex. The plaintiff's attorneys are seeking unspecified damages from Bayless, Fox Sports, and its parent company, Fox Corporation. The complaint also claims Fox executives fostered a hostile work environment that allowed senior management and on-air personalities to abuse workers without fear of punishment. Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes is here. Khalif, what evidence or documentation does she have in this case?
She seems that, listed in this complaint, it seems like there is a mounting amount of evidence. She talked about a number of anonymous witnesses. So that's the first thing that I'd say. These folks that she mentions in the complaint are people that saw firsthand the accounts that they have listed in here. Also in the complaint, text messages. So you have the documentation. You have, as they say, the receipts to be able to prove the statements that you're making, not just against Skip Bayless, but executives. And that's what you need to be able to prove this case. Because if I'm going to file a lawsuit, not just against Skip, but all these other folks, I have to be able to show that the parent company, management, upper management, executives knew what was happening and failed to do anything. A number of the text messages in the complaint list communications with those individuals. Some other personalities on the air she also talked to, and they kind of told her to brush it to a side. So there are a number of levels to this complaint, but specifically, I believe if you can point to text messages, you have witnesses that saw it, that strengthens this case, 10 times.
So how is Fox Sports responding to the lawsuit beyond their initial statement? And are there any signs of maybe an internal investigation?
They're doing the normal PR statement, which you want someone to do in a situation that we've looked at the complaint. These type of allegations, we are against this 100%. They did not mention if there was an internal investigation, but you would assume if you're making these type of complaints against your lead personalities and your top executives, that the immediate first thing is we're going to have an internal investigation, because you need the mitigation. You want to ensure that if there is some type of truth to these allegations, that you've put in place the things to prevent this from going forward, because what you don't want to have is more individuals coming forward saying the very thing has happened to them.
And that's kind of exactly where I was thinking, because obviously sometimes when you see one of these lawsuits, someone else jumps on because they said, hey, this happened to me and now I've got help, basically.
This is a class action suit, and to your point, most of the time, a victim of sexual assault, a victim of sexual harassment or sexual abuse will normally say, I didn't come forward because I felt like I was all alone. So it does, in these situations, have the tendency to empower a victim. And so this is a class action. They're looking for folks that were employed during this time that may have been in this situation. And so the floodgates can open. During the discovery process, you will likely see more, not just plaintiffs, but also more defendants. They mentioned in their complaint that there are a number of other individuals that they believe knew that this was happening and failed to act. So you can see a number of names added, not just more defendants, but also more plaintiffs.
So how does this lawsuit fit within maybe larger context of like sexual harassment claims in the sports media industry?
The complaint says that it's a toxic environment, not just in media, but in the sports media specifically. This goes right on point to something that happened at Fox in the past, something that happened at ESPN in the past. These are claims from folks that are behind the scenes, people that are hairdressers, that are stylists, that are people that are, getting folks prepared for on-air talent to go and do their job, but also at the same time, not wanting to be harassed. These lawsuits echo, sometimes often mirror the other previous lawsuits that have come in the past. And so this falls right into line with what I've seen in the past.
And this could essentially be opening the door for more people.
Opening the door, and can be devastating, because in those other lawsuits, most of those other folks were either fired or suspended indefinitely.
All right. Thank you so much, Khalif. Appreciate your expertise.